What's up, guys? It's Lord Botha here for another video, and Ballerina is now in theaters, and it has started not great. This comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter, entitled Box Office: John Wick spinoff Ballerina opens to sluggish 25 million. Lilo and Stitch rules with 32.5 million. Yes, Lilo and Stitch topped the North American chart for the third consecutive weekend with an estimated 32.5 million from 4,185 theaters after clearing the $300 million milestone on Thursday. Yeah, this is quickly looking like a movie that's going to hit the $1 billion mark fairly easily. I mean, to be fair, we also said that about Minecraft, and it doesn't look like Minecraft is actually going to get there. Though also, in the time that Minecraft has been out, Lilo and Stitch has also come out. You got the How to Train Your Dragon movie that's going to come out soon. So a lot of these kids movies are kind of overlapping each other and might be taking away from some of their audience. That said, they're still all making a pretty profit, especially when you consider the fact that Lilo and Stitch had such a lot lower budget than most of the other live-action remakes. But enough about Lilo and Stitch, because this is a video about Ballerina, right? The movie to open at second in the box office. And the article states Ballerina, the first John Wick spinoff, opened in second place with a softer than expected 25 million from 3,409 venues. The lowest start of any title in the series except for the first John Wick in 2014. And I don't know if that's adjusted for inflation. I'm going to assume not, in which case I'll say 2014 was over a decade ago. And times have changed in terms of inflation and just the economy in general, as well as the state of Hollywood and movies. Anyway, the article goes on to say Ana de Armas plays the title role of the R-rated action pick, with main franchise star Keanu Reeves also making an appearance. And yes, apparently, from what I've heard of this movie, I haven't seen it myself, Keanu doesn't just make an appearance. He has an extensive role in this movie, which people were kind of shocked at, apparently. Partly because, it's not supposed to star him, and also partly because there's a lot of rumors of whether or not Keanu Reeves will ever actually play the role of John Wick again. This is a guy who's openly stated that he can't physically do the role anymore because his knees are shot physically. 3 weeks ago, Ballerina was tracking to open to 35 million or more. Projections were lowered to 30 million plus heading into the weekend and even further. The good news, Ballerina nabbed a A- cinema score and strong audience scores both on Rotten Tomatoes, 94%, and post-track, so it could regain its step and have long legs. I'm going to tell you right now, that doesn't count for much. Also, yes, if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, has a 93, certified fresh, all that. If you go to the all audience, it's actually 91. All critics, 76. Top critics, 65. I mean, the critics, they also like the movie, but it's definitely going to be lower. I mean, it's an action movie. Critics hate action movies. The article continues. Lionsgate decided to bank big on its John Wick universe after seeing such subsequent film open to bigger numbers and almost unheard of feat. Yeah, especially in the action genre. They tend to always be in decline. That is until now. Since Ballerina is a spin-off, expectations were always going to be different, that means lower, but not to this degree. Lionsgate was looking for it to at least match John Wick Chapter 2, probably the worst in the franchise, at 30.4 million opening in 2017, not adjusted for inflation. And yeah, it didn't even hit that. So far, Ballerina is playing decidedly male, or 63% according to post-track. So yeah, it's mostly men going to see this movie, and we're going to get into that factor as to why it might not be performing well. Lionsgate and Thunder Road Films, 8711 Entertainment say they covered a notable chunk of the $90 million production budget with foreign sales. Yeah, I'm calling cap on that, because as you just look here at Box Office Mojo, it's basically 50-50. And international box offices, they keep way more of the money than the domestic box office. And this movie in total has done 50.5 million so far. Yeah, not great. And we're going to assume that the production company is only lying about the budget to the tune of $10 to $20 million because they always lie about their budgets, especially Disney, but they all do. So we'll assume that they're actually lying about the production budget or off, shall we say, to the tune of about $10 million conservatively. And say that the movie, their production budget was actually $100 million. You have to times that by 3 because not only do you have the production budget, you also have the marketing budget, which is usually the same amount of money as the production budget. And you have to account for the fact that theaters have to make money too. So that's why you times it by 3. So you're going to get about $300 million needed to break even, somewhere in the 250 to 300 million range. This movie has maybe a chance, if it does have those good legs, that it can get there, but I'm thinking it's going to be a struggle. This, at worst, could end up being a $100 million loss for Lionsgate. Now, what are some of the reasons why this movie is failing or appears to be failing? Well, first is the name. The name of the movie is Ballerina. It's an action movie that skews heavily towards males. Do you think that naming an action movie Ballerina really draws in a male-desired audience? That men want to go see an action movie called Ballerina. And that's one of the small factors. It's also why they changed the name of the movie to From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. The John Wick universe's version of Birds of Prey, or the fantastical liberation, emancipation, freedom, whatever, of Harley Quinn, whatever the hell the title of that movie was. The second factor is that Ana de Armas is an incredibly attractive woman with a really good body. And the entire movie, or a good deal of the movie from what I heard, she spends in a trench coat. Why not show her off? Why not use her sexiness? Use the femme fatale mystique of her actual physical frame to try to sell the movie. The audience, as we saw, 63% male that is going to see this movie, which is heavily skewed towards males then, right? Want to see sexy women with maybe, just maybe, a little bit of skin, not clad in a thick, heavy trench coat most of the film. So yeah, a little bit of a deterring factor. Finally, and I think this is the biggest factor, it's a spin-off movie, which yes, you're always going to need a lower production budget because yes, you can have your spin-off characters, your minor characters. You can do your little WandaVision shows and all that, but they have to be for significantly less money than the actual blockbuster superhero movies, right? With the main superhero cast that we know and love. Same thing here. If you're going to have secondary characters get main movies, they're going to have to be for less money because they're just not going to draw in as many people because they're side stories. They are the side quests of that movie franchise. Some people, a lot of people just aren't interested. Especially, and this is the big factor here, especially when it is a female protagonist in this day and age in an action movie. Because general audiences are tired of the girl boss trope. The girl boss trope that has been shoehorned into so many action, superhero, and even video game adaptation movies. Pretty much wherever you have women that are going to do action at all, that it has ruined women being able to actually be in action movies or having a headlining role in any movie that features combat or physical stunts or anything like that. The girl boss trope has ruined that to the point where people, they just don't want to turn up for it anymore. They're not interested in it. And listen, you can have a movie with a female lead who is strong and capable and can be the action star of the movie while also being realistic and the movie be a complete success. The problem is, a lot of them are going to fail. Just like if you look in the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s, for every movie that you had a square-jawed beefcake dude starring in an action film that was a monumental financial success, you had droves more that were complete failures. We like to think of those eras of being like hit after hit after hit, but the truth is, a lot of those movies didn't do well. It's just in an age where we get pretty much near zero of that anymore. We long for getting that again. Just like if they take the female action star away from us for, I don't know, 5-10 years, maybe we'd be ready to actually go back and consume some more of that media again. Especially if they maybe, just maybe, turn up the sexiness just a little bit. But until then, people just aren't going to care about this anymore. And they're not going to show up for it. And I think that's why this movie is failing and going to fail. It's just a matter of how bad is it actually going to be for Lionsgate. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.